Hello all. How many of you are using Claude Code by Anthropic in your project? Maybe in your personal project or an open source project or in your organization. If you are using, most probably I think if you are clicking this video, there will be 90% chance that you will be already using Claude Code. This video is not for explaining what Claude Code is or what is Claude Code itself. So this video is about when you start Claude Code session in your project folder, right? You will see .claude folder in it and also claud.md file. Do you know what these one folder and one file means? I think most of you would have heard claud.md means write your system prompt inside the claud.md, then the agent will obey from reading it. Yeah, it is true in like at least 20-30%, but exactly what can be put inside claud.md, what kind of information can be given in which area, that all will be defined inside .claude folder. So .claude folder, if you start exploring, right, it will be really awesome. There are so many features. Four important thing what you must know. Four important, just keep in mind, four important while completing the video. If I ask you again what is the four, which one is used for what, you should be able to answer. Okay, we'll just go into the video straight and then we'll come back to speak one on one. Yeah, we'll start. See, the .claude folder, right? That has like in your whole root repository, you will have claude.md and .claude folder. Inside the .claude folder, what all you will have are settings.json, commands, rules, skills, and agents. These four important things is what you can configure. So let's see what is used for what, which time of or which kind of things can be done in which kind of folders. All those things we'll see in detail. Before starting, we need to know, like, there are two folders. It's not one. What I'm trying to tell is your project will have .claude folder, which will have all these four folders, settings.json, everything. Like the same way, when you're installing Claude Code in your computer, there will be a .claude folder inside your root repository or root folder. The root folder .claude is personal only to you. Only you see this. It is not committed in any of the Git or anything. The commands what you write, the agents what you build, or the rules what you write, everything it's only personal for you when you write something inside root folders.claude. If you write if you write something inside project folder.claude, that will be committed into Git first of all. Then everybody in the team will have same system prompt, same project context, everything will be synced across each other. So this will be user for team management things, and if you want personal things, if you have personal preferences, you can put it in .claude. We'll also see what is the other way to put the personal preference. Okay, now let's start with what is claud.md file mean. This sits in two places. One, it can sit in your project repository, .claude repository, project's root folder itself. It doesn't need to be inside .claude folder. It can be in the root folder of your project itself, or you will have a .claude folder inside your root repository, which is very personal to you. It can be inside that also. Okay. So what is this claud.md? What can we write inside claud.md? It's right. If you have some rules for your project specific rules, right? What you have, please write it here. For example, don't never use console.log for error handling. Always use custom logger module. This is one rule which this you follow as a developer, because you have been in that project. This is called project context. What a developer will take 1 or 2 months, learn the project context, and then start working, right? You just write it as a rule. Claude will become a co-developer for you. Now, this, if you place this inside this project kind of rules inside your project claud.md, it also gets into the commit, and it is common for all people. Now, if you have personal preference, like what is the coding style you use, or what kind of naming conventions you use, all those things, your personal rules should be sitting inside .claude of the root folder. Okay, so one is project folder will have like examples like you should write test before writing the code, tdd. You should like follow, as I said, don't use console.log, use logger functions. So all those are project related details which you will put inside project folders.claude. Your root folder.claude will have your personal preference like coding style, naming conventions, or your personal things. Okay, how you approach a problem, how you will try to solve a problem, that will be sitting over there. So this is what exactly actually sits inside claud.md. Build commands, test commands, linting commands, key architectural decisions like mono repo with turbo repo and non-obvious. So these are all like TypeScript with strict mode. These are all small rules which change project to project, right? This all will specify what is the naming import conventions, file import structure, file and folder structure. All those will be inside project dot cloud fold. I mean claude.md file. What you shouldn't write is, don't write full documentation of the project. The long paragraph or theories, what contains the content, starting to ending, all those things, it's not at all required. We can just skip. So or if you have docs folder separately, just link the folder. Just say in claude.md, if you want docs of the folder, refer to these folders. The normal claude.md file will be less than 200 lines. Don't go more than that. Everything is going to the context. You shouldn't pollute the context of LLMs. So this is one example how a claude.md file will look like. Project name, these are all the commands, these are the key architecture discussion, these are all the conventions, watch out for, these are all the things what it needs to watch out for. Simple, very important. What a developer will learn in a time period, you just need to update over here. So this is just 20 lines. There is other thing, claud.local.md. What this means? This claud.local.md means this is a personal preference to that particular project. This is not going into git commit. Remember it. This is not going into git commit. So if people say like write test first and then TDD, follow TDD, write test, then write code. But your personal preference is writing code, checking it is working, then only you need to write test. If you have your own personal preference, you need to put it in claud.local.md, which is not going into the commit or anywhere, but it will obey your rules first. Your preference is Claude's priority first. So if you see the priority order, first managed policies, organization wide policies, if they have something, they will have. Then the Claude folder, your root folder, you will have some important information, right? That will be getting loaded. Then only projects claude.md will be getting loaded. Then your claude.local.md will be getting loaded. So the topmost priority is your personal preference for that particular project. These are all things will combine as a system prompt and will get loaded to the Claude immediately. I think this makes sense for you, I guess. So when you're writing claude.md, don't write too much content in it. Be crisp, clear, what a developer needs to know in his day-to-day life to work in that project. Only inform that decision. And there are too many types of claude.md. One is your root folder claude.md, then project folder claude.md, and claude.local.md. I have explained all three differences clearly. Now we'll see what rules folder means inside .claude. What is rules folder? Rules folder is none other than an extension of claude.md. See, if you are a 10 member team and not a multiple repos, a single repo, then it is fine. But if you have a 25 member team, 30 member team, it's a mono repo, multiple repositories are sitting inside that one folder structure, then how will you? I have already told like 200 lines of claude.md is good to have. So if one claude.md will be getting edited by multiple teams, if it is a monorepo, or multiple people at the same time. See, inside one big team, there will be like QA team, there will be senior consultant, there will be like API convention team, there will be a security team. So all these people will be there, right? Like sub teams. Everybody should not come and work on one claude.md, and it will be messy. Nobody knows what is where, what is there, what is not there. All those will be there. So every information what you put inside claude.md as a whole big file, let's start making it modular. So if you are a testing team, just create testing.md inside rules folder of your project.claude. So inside your project folder, you will have .claude. You are itself seeing now in your VS Code. Inside that, create a folder name rules. Inside that, for testing team, create testing.md. For security team, create security.md. API conventions, if you have something, create API conventions.md. Then this all files will be automatically loaded with claude.md. What is the benefit? You can ask, what is the benefit in creating all these separately? Anyways, it is going to load with claude.md. There is benefit, but the one advantage what we will have is same file, multiple people will not come and edit, merge conflicts, everything. We don't need to, that headache we don't need to have. Different teams, see, testing team will have a complete sync between them, at least 2 3 4 people. Security team also will be like that only, right? So we'll have create separate files for separate minor teams. So it will be easy for management. One. So each file is focused for each team. One advantage you saw. The real power is scoping the path. See, you can set path. So if this file is called security.md, you can set it like this: paths.src API. If your Claude code is going to touch any of these files inside these folders you mentioned, then only this rules will be added to the context of the model. Else it is not going to load like everything as it loads. So if it is really going to touch the model, it is going to read these rules. I mean, if it is really going to touch the files what you have mentioned in the paths, it is going to touch, I mean, read these rules. Else it is not reading the these rules. So the context window is saved. Unwanted information is not being passed to the context window. A right information passed at the right time to the agent, it does a magic for the user prompts. This is a basic rule. Right amount of information at the right time passed to the model will make a magic for the user prompt. This is a general rule in coding agents. So that rule is being satisfied in this. If you're giving the paths, what are all path you can specify for loading that rules. Did you understand? Two advantages: easily people can manage, and then the specified, when the Claude code is editing the specified part, then only these rules are going to be loaded. Okay, now we'll move for commands folder. What see, we were speaking about .claude. You can see in your project structure inside that rules, we saw rules. Now if you want to if you want to add a command, you need to create a command folder. Commands, COMMANDS. Create a folder in your project root folder. You will see .claude. Create commands folder inside it. So what this commands folder does, see, few commands are there like /help, /compact. All these commands are available in your Claude code by default. But if you want to create a commands, there are so many magic happens inside commands. We'll speak about it clearly. But see, if you want a command like review.md, create inside commands folder, .claude commands folder, create review.md, create a file fixissue.md. So you can activate it after creating this file and writing the prompt. You can activate it by typing \, then you will see list. The list will be already popped up. Then search for project : then review, fix issue. Any of these commands can be activated. You understood how to create and how to do this thing. I think you understood, right? So what is the advantage of doing this? If that is your question, first of all, we'll see an example. Then I'll start with the example only. There are two examples, two magics happen in this commands. We'll see the first example, first magic. First of all, you will give a description of the command. This doesn't have name, all those things, because you manually activated. So description of the command is written. Now you can see there is a exclamatory mark with a git command, a terminal command, and there is a system prompt. Three things I can see in this example. I can see three things. One is description, other is a exclamatory mark with a terminal command, and there is a system prompt. Why is this exclamatory mark given? That is because, see, anyways, if you want to review the code, it will be not committed, right? It will be an unstashed changes. Oh, sorry. It will be an uncommitted changes in your project. If you go directly to the Claude code and say, can you review the project, what it will do, it will generate a terminal command for fetching the diff of the origin main and the current head. It will generate the diff. It will generate a terminal command for this. Then it will execute in the terminal. Then it will get the output. Then it will load in the context, and then it will start reviewing it, right? Here also exactly same is happening, but we are minimizing the step for Claude. So basically, if you put an exclamatory mark and write a terminal command, it will automatically immediately executes when you start this command /command. It will immediately start, I mean, it will execute, get the output of the terminal command and add it to the context window. Then only this rules itself, this system prompt itself will be loaded. So we are minimizing the agent for generating the terminal command. All those things we are minimizing. That is a good one, right? We are minimizing the step, what LLMs generation step, and we also will be definite what it will read. We will also know because we wrote this terminal command. So the important magic happening over here is write exclamatory mark with the terminal command to immediately execute, and then get it inside the context, so that all the rules, then you can write what are all code quality check, security vulnerability, missing test case coverage, all those things, what all you want to write as a system prompt, you can write it at the bottom. That is all fine. But this exclamatory mark with the terminal command is primarily used for immediately executing in the background and just adding the output alone to the context of the LLM. Okay, now let's go for second example with the second magic. See, if you want to fix the issue, if you put slash fix issue, then you need to say the issue number, right, for it to fix. Anyways, it can do, see, whatever I'm mentioning here, you can do it manually, but it's a manual effort. Each and every time you need to repeat the things again and again, and each and every team member will write a system prompt differently, and he will get a different output to make everybody to utilize maximum potential of the agents. That's why we are configuring this. First of all, we need to understand why we are even looking at this. So passing arguments to the commands is like if you put a dollar symbol inside it, and then you also put an exclamatory mark. So it will first wait for the argument by the user who sends, like project colon fix issue 234. So this 234 is the argument number which is being passed, and then GitHub issue view 234 will be executed, and the output alone will be exactly added to the context of the LLM, and then the system prompt will be loaded. Hope you understood. So the second magic what we are seeing here is, first magic what we saw is if you put exclamatory mark, it will execute the terminal command and add the output to the context. The second magic is if you put a dollar symbol and put an argument keyword, then it will start accepting the argument from the user, then execute that. Hope you understand. The same thing you can do it for, like as I was explaining, like personal versus project. If you add commands inside your project folders .claude commands folder, it will be available across your teammates, and it will be available in the GitHub, it will be linked to GitHub, all those things. If you put it in your root folder, root folders command, then everything is for you. If you backslash type user colon command name, then if you saw, right, for if it was inside project folder, you would have seen like dot slash project colon review. Now if you add it in your personal user, then slash user colon. Okay, hope I made you clear about commands folder. Now let's see what is skills folder means. See, if you want to compare between skills versus command, it's really simple. If you user manually trigger a process or a workflow, that is called commands. If the LLM itself identifies based on the problem what it is facing and trigger a command, trigger a skill, trigger a workflow, it becomes a skill. So you write the system prompt, you write it and save it in the folders. If you save it in the commands folder, only user can trigger it. If you place it inside skills folder, the LLM can trigger whenever it wants. It is that simple. Same, this colon, dollar symbol, everything can be done. But if you place it inside commands folder, only the user can only trigger it manually. The skills folder also, if you place it inside skills folder, the agent can trigger whenever it wants. The skills also can be manually triggered. That also you know. The skills also can be manually triggered, but the agent has the ability to trigger it automatically in background. And the primary thing is, the skills folder will come with a subfolder structure. It's not one .md file. It's not security review.md. It's a security review is a folder. Then it has skills.md. Then there is a detailed guide.md. So this folder, security review folder, must have skill.md file, but it's optional to have multiple files, multiple folders, multiple md things. Hope that makes sense for you. Why are we creating this? We are creating this because we can use it. This can be mentioned in skills file. Use this for detailed code review or detailed security review analysis. You're trying to give more information, more related information to the skills. Creating a skill itself is a skill. I think we should make it as a separate video, but just know skills is a totally a separate folder kind of structure. See, there can be a subfolder also. We'll make skills, how to create skills as a separate video. Okay, for sure we are making it. But how to write a skill, high level we'll see. A skills.md file will have name of the skill, description, what does the skill even mean. With this description and name only, the agent will pick up, oh, I currently need to do a security review, so let me use security review skill. So with this name and description is very important. And what all tools does this skill have access as? Read, grep, glob. So all these are like reading things. It is not supposed to write something. You understood, right? Then the system prompt is written for that particular skill. Hope this helps you and this makes you understand. So if user write review this PR for security issue, then the Claude reads the description and recognizes the match and invokes the skill automatically. You can also call it explicitly by slash security review or slash any skill name. The key difference of command is something like it is supporting files. This has multiple supporting file, the document that lives right next to the skill.md, all those things. So same way, if you have a skill inside your root folder .claude skills folder, then it is like it is personal to you alone. It is not committed anywhere. No teammate cannot access all those things. Only you can see. Now let's move to agents. Agents is something really, really important. This is a killer feature what this Anthropic people have made. Let me give you a scenario and then we'll start. See, if you're asking, if you give a prompt to your Claude Code saying that can you implement OAuth 2.1 to my project, if you say this, right, that too can you implement through ORI, ORY is a open source auth management system. Please explore them. I'm using it in my self memory project. They are really good. They are completely open source also. So if ORI supports OAuth 2.1 or not, the agent should need to know, right? For that, it should do a web search. Web search capability this agents or this Claude Code will have. If it did a web search with the main agent itself, if it is doing a web search, and it will explore 4 web pages minimum it will explore 4 web pages. All the 4 web pages content should not be loaded into the main agent's context window itself, which is unwanted information. End of the day, we need to know only one thing: will ORI support auth 2.1 or not? Yes or no. For yes or no question, why do we need all this 4 web page content? So that will be delegated to a sub-agent. What the main agent will delegate a task to sub-agent that can you find in the web that ORI supports or OAuth 2.1 or not. So the sub-agent will have its own separate context window. That sub-agent context window will search on the web, find everything, yeah, it supports OAuth 2.1. Then compress it and only sends the required answer to the main agent. What will it send back to the main agent? Yes, ORI supports OAuth 2.1. So what is the advantage we are getting? We are not polluting the context window of the main agent, which is very, very, very important. Context window is everything when it comes to LLMs. So this agent is exactly what I explained as, this is called sub-agent. This sub-agent feature is called agents. So you need to create a agents folder inside .claude wherever. If you create it inside your personal root folder, then it becomes the sub-agent is only for you. If you create it inside your project, that becomes team level sub-agent. You need to create one MD file, code reviewer.md, security auditor.md. This is how one example will look like. Name, description. The description is been for the name and description is for picking up the agents automatically by the main agent. Main agent will assign the task on the go. It happens in the background. You don't need to specify it each and every time. And two important thing is this sub agent should use which model. It should use Sonnet or it should use Haiku. See, if it is like if you are creating a sub agent for user onboarding or new project member onboarding, this use case is really, really useful. If you are creating an agent for onboarding a new user or new developer to your project, you will create onboard agent. Name is will be onboard agent. You will give like you are an expert in onboarding new user to the application. So all those things. Now you can put a Haiku model over here. Why can you use Haiku? So this whole agent will be primarily reading the project and explaining to the user. So it doesn't need a code writing knowledge model. It just need to English understanding model is primarily required here. So we don't use a costly Sonnet model which costs around $15 per million token. We can use a Haiku model which costs like $5 per million token, which is very less. And also you can specify the tools how it can read or write. So the project onboarding agent and all can use only read function alone, read tool alone it can use. Then you should write a system prompt, what it should do, what it shouldn't do, all those things. System prompt you should write for the sub agent. So you understood, right? You can write the name. You understood the sub agent concept. The context window of the sub agent is different and main agent is different. That is very, very important concept to know from this section. And you should write the name, description, model, and the model name should also be specified over here, and the tools what it has access to. So all these are only we have specified here. And if you create inside root folder, I said it will be personal agent for you. What I explained as The code reviewer is a sub-agent. That context window is fresh context window. That doesn't pollute the main context window. Only required returned compressed finding. Only that is being again passed to the main agent. Other than that, everything is fine. Okay, so we have covered all four things. One is first is command, first is rules. First we saw rules. After Claude.md we saw rules. Rules is an extension of Claude.md. Then we saw commands, which only user can trigger it manually. Then we saw what is skills. Skills is something like commands only, but the agent can trigger whenever it wants. Finally we saw about agents, like sub agents. We both have a different context window. All those things we saw. Now we'll see about settings.json. What is settings.json? Setting.json is the permission layer of your project config. So if you type $schema and give this line, in your project autocomplete is enabled. It will be enabled. The permissions have allow and deny. This is the allows, these commands will be allowed, these commands will be denied. So it's very simple, right? So if this will be synced across your teammates also, so your teammates will also have everybody's teammate Claude Code will not access your .env file, but this can be overridden by settings.local.json. So how claud.local.json will overrule the claud.md file, same way the settings.local.json will overrule the settings.json from your project structure. Okay, I hope this makes sense very clearly. Let's go to global.cloud folder. What all it will have? As we spoke, claud.md it will have all your personal coding principle, preferred style, anything you want to Claude to remember, all those things you have written here. Now you need to, the other next important thing is inside .claude, it will create projects folder, and inside that project folder it will have a memory of that project. So it automatically captures all the memory of that project and save it inside projects folder in your root folder, not even inside the projects folder. It will save it in the root folder. What you have did, what feature you have implemented, how is the project is moving, what next to implement, everything. The memory of the project is stored inside your root folder of .claude. Okay, the same Claude commands and skills is for your personal. We have spoken 100 times. So this is the full picture how it would look. Your project has claude.md, even if it requires like claude.local.md. Claude folder has settings.json, settings.local.json, commands folder, rules folder, skills folder, agents folder. It can have 4 folders. The root Claude folder will have claude.md, settings.json, Claude, skills, agents, projects. This project is session history and auto memory will be added over here. If you're asking me, okay, I understood whatever you spoke, I understood. Where should I start with? You said so many things, but where should I start with for my project? I think Anthropic people also had this question, I guess. So only they created /init. Just type /init in your project. It will itself create claude.md. It will generate all the starter boilerplate will be ready for your claude.md. From there you can start. Add .env files in your settings or JSON if it is a client project or you're making your project open source. Create 1 or 2 commands starting with, then do one by one. First, make sure claude.md is ready. Okay, as your project goes, your claude.md grows, so write everything, start making it modular and write inside rules folder. Then add root folder .claude.md for your personal preference. So this itself will cover 95% of your capability you can maximize from Claude Code. Okay, the key insights, as I said, the .claude folder is really protocol for telling the Claude who you are, what your project does, and what rules it should follow. The more clearly you define that, the less time you spending correcting the Claude, and the more time it spends doing useful work. You don't need to say again and again and again. Okay, and it will start doing a useful work. Claude.md is your highest leverage file. That should be right first. Get that right first. Everything else is optimization. First thing, write claud.md. Okay, start small, and then you can evolve when the project also evolves. As the project grows, this file, this rules, all those will also start getting that also will be growing, and then you can optimize. Hope I gave you some idea how to maximize the potential of Claude Code. I think this folder structure, this claud.md cursor started accepting. So if you think like, if I read this for codex, should I learn it separately again? Then for each and every people, should I read it separately again? See, currently Claude Code is at the frontier of coding, agentic coding. So most people will start adopting the people who define the rules at the beginning. So cursor is started accepting claud.md. It loads the memory from there. Codex is like currently they use agent.md file primarily, but they also will accept for sure. They need to produce good results for their clients, right? So they will also do things. So don't worry in learning this. For sure, this is going to help from now. From now, using AI for coding is not going to go anywhere. It is going to excel in more than rocket speed. So try learning it, try adapting in your project, and make use of the Claude to its maximum. Thank you. See you all in another video.